And now, it's time for Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk hookup. For the next 2 hours, join Pete Gray, rock cod Rick Maxa, and this week's special expert guest for fishing information, new techniques to catch more fish, and the most current scoop on what's happening in the water. Let's Talk Hookup is sponsored in part by Yamaha Outboards. Reliability starts here. By Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup. And Shimano Rods and Reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. Get ready for the fastest 2 hours on radio with the hosts of Let's Talk Hookup, Pete Gray and rock cod Rick Maxa.
Good morning, anglers, and welcome to Let's Talk Hookup. I'm Pete Gray with rock cod Rick Maxa. We're in the Mighty 1090 studios with Captain Mark Wish from Pacific Edge. Yes, indeed, we're going to be talking sea bass and Fred Hall, Del Mar, last day and the last of the season this year. So you stay tuned. Southern California Sport Fishing Voice is Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090.
The new Shimano Torium HG is here, and you'll be able to experience this fantastic reel at the Fred Hall shows. The new Torium is up to 30% smaller than the previous generation, but still has the same line capacity. The smaller S-compact body design and one-piece die-cast aluminum frame provides more rigidity and lighter weight. Torium now has EI surface treatment and has tested up to 700 times the corrosion resistance of past models. The new Shimano Torium HG is not only better on the outside, the inside is amazing with a cross-carbon drag, providing up to 24 pounds of drag pressure from a Star Drag reel. It has a sealed roller clutch and 6.2 to 1 brass gears. The machined aluminum handle has a larger knob to make it easier to crank in the big fish. The new lightweight aluminum spool gives you better casting and control. Available in 3 sizes, the Torium HG is the next evolution in a compact, rigid, and powerful saltwater Star Drag reels. Get it at the Fred Hall Show and your local Shimano dealers.
Everyone likes special treatment, kind of feel like a VIP. Well, that's how our listeners are treated at Poway Valley Collision. I have personally heard of several stories of how well our friends Jim and Mary take care of their customers that we sent them. Poway Valley Collision is worth the drive from anywhere in the Southland. We know you may not need them today, but when accidents happen, it pays to go to Poway Valley Collision. And listen to this. Our listeners get a special discount that can save you hundreds of dollars on your car or truck repair. Just tell them you listen to the show and you get the deal. They work with most insurance companies, including Auto Club, MetLife, Wawanesa, and more. Just bring your car or truck to them and let Poway Valley Collision do the rest. I have had my truck repaired at Poway Valley Collision, and the job was perfect. So get your vehicle fixed right at Poway Valley Collision. Tell them you listen to Let's Talk Hookup, and they'll save you money on your repair. Poway Valley Collision, 14211 Garden Road in Poway. Check PowayValleyCollision.com. Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090. Going to be a great show today, man.
Yeah, indeed, it is going to be a great show today. Captain Mark Wish from Pacific Edge. Good morning, Mark.
Morning, Pete. Morning, Ricky.
What's up, Mark?
Great to have you.
Man.
What a show,
Fred Hall, man.
Yeah, what a show. Hope I got enough voice to get through this show and the rest of the show.
Yeah, indeed. Well, I was, of course, back in Ohio yesterday. Got back at 10 o'clock last night, and at my mother-in-law Grace Tharp's funeral yesterday in Columbus, Ohio, home of course, the Ohio State, and she was well ingrained in Ohio State, and it was a really great send-off for a really amazing lady, Grace Tharp, and she was 90, almost 90, just short of 95 years old, and lived an amazing life, and Lolly has, my wife has 5 brothers and sisters and 44 nieces and nephews, and numerous friends. Of course, they grew up and were in the Columbus area, Hilliard actually area, for all their lives. I mean, they lived on the same farm for 62 years.
Wow.
And so needless to say, it was a popular event at the church and a beautiful send-off for a really wonderful lady. So, but I'm back.
Yep, you're back.
Yeah, I'm back. And, boy, I missed a couple of great days at the Fred Hall show.
Man, yesterday was so much fun at Fred Hall. It was just a really good day. And Saturday is that big day where you get all the extra hours. And there was so much going on between awesome sales, awesome seminars, perfect weather for Fred Hall. It was a huge, fun day, and looking forward to another one today.
Yeah. It was 20 degrees in Columbus. How about here?
It was so nice yesterday.
Yeah?
Mark and I were just saying it was 82 degrees and the yellows were biting yesterday.
Gotta love that.
All
yellows
good,
and more, right, Mark?
Yeah, yellows and more.
And rumors.
Well, there's probably some truth to this one because these pictures came from a good source, and the pictures are quite clear. of a marlin that was seen day before yesterday, I think it was now, right there on the backside of Catalina in like 8 fathoms of water. A couple very clear pictures. One of them kind of sleeping tail, another one looks almost like he turns into a little quick feeder there. And right in the background is the canyon. It's just the west of Croker Beach where we fish sea bass about 1 million times. So it was pretty obvious where that fish was, and he's in 8 fathoms of water. That's pretty obvious too. So, and that just ties in with all this other goofy stuff we've been happening this winter. Fall, winter, now spring, with what looks to be some form of decent El Nino, or something. Something's going on. We got just a lot of amazing stuff going on. All that yellowtail has been around all winter, and, all that red crab that pushed in, and, you don't typically see gazillions of tons of red crabs and lots of squid, so, you get one or the other typically. So, unfortunately, our squid season might be a little different this year, and which will change the sea bass fishing quite a bit this year. So we're in for some good fun. But God, all that bluefin that was out on the bank until just a week ago when that little break fell apart. So hopefully they're still around and that gets reorganized.
They're swimming around somewhere, right?
Yeah, they're probably not far.
Yeah.
Maybe they just went.
There's
deep
some more
for a
good
little
water
bit.
somewhere, right?
There's good water. We delivered a bait tank to a guy. Was it Friday morning? Big custom tank, and the captain on the boat has long-range connections, and he was telling me that the boat's going back and forth to the big tuna grounds down south there. They've been seeing yellowfin at 200 miles on down, scattered spots of yellowfin all winter. So those yellowfins aren't very far away either in that better water. So we are set for some really, really, really interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Keeping in mind this is March. We're
this
talking
is
about
March.
all this.
Yeah. Well, it's almost April, though.
That's true.
Yeah, almost April, right around the corner, and that means sea bass, right, Mark?
Well, typically it does, yeah. And, there are some sea bass around. Not in the numbers that we would expect to see because there's, those fish seem to follow the squid, and the squid's pretty much MIA. There's a few little dabs of, really small bait here and there over at Catalina, nothing much of any consequence that I've heard of. And a lot of people looking, that's for sure. So, there's been a handful of fish caught over at Catalina. Those were on frozen bait. So if you've got any good quality frozen, I would definitely guard that stuff carefully. And, in reality, the bigger fish along the beach here, I haven't heard of any of those caught on frozen. It's all been on mackerels. And we're going to see a lot more of that fin bait type of fishing. The fish are going to be on bird schools this year because they got to eat something. If there's no squid, they're going to just shift over to really what they're designed to eat, which is fin bait. That's why they got the big mouth with all those teeth. So they'll be here, right? Yeah, I think they're going to be here.
Okay.
I think they're going to be here. I don't think we're going to see the big schools like we've seen in some years because they seem like they like that cooler water edge, and that edge is above us. So, but a lot of that is unknown yet. Just exactly where they go and what they do when they're not around here. So
how do you fish a sea bass on a mackerel? I forget. Caught him on mackerel before, but I forgot how.
I like that.
Okay,
I'm on your side. I like when you can just.
So the number one rule of fishing a sea bass on a mackerel is get it out of your head that the mackerel is too big of a bait. That is an absolute impossibility because the sea bass will eat a legal barracuda. So
what about Saba-sized mackerel?
Not a problem. Not a problem. My friend John Anders and I were sitting on the Isthmus High Spot at Catalina one time, and we had a chum bucket out, and we had some of these giant Spanish jacks in the chum, like 3-pounders.
Whoa.
So we caught one of those, and John said, just for fun, I'm going to throw this thing out there. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, dude. That bait didn't swim 30 feet, and he got nailed.
Really?
And the fish that he caught on it, what really wasn't all that big. It was a nice one, like 25, 28 pounds or something like that, but not any giant one. And that mackerel was huge. So absolutely, just do not worry about the size of a mackerel, because any sea bass who wants to eat something is going to eat that thing for sure. The perfect bait, just in terms of managing your bait, is that nice little green mackerel that's, in that 8 to 12-inch category there. But in terms of those bigger ones, don't worry about it. And there's several ways to fish them. You can just straight fly line them, heavier tackle, obviously. There's no reason not to use that heavier gear. The fish aren't particularly line shy, so use a little bit an uptick in the tackle there, 40 at least, fluorocarbon, and or 50 or 60. Some guys fish 80. I'm not too much into that, but you can fish that heavier gear. like a 6 or 7/0 size hook. I like to hook them right behind the head, right to the skin of the back, just lightly underneath the skin there, just about even with the back of his gill flaps. There's some tendons that go underneath the skin right there, so it makes a real good, secure place to hook them. And the hook seldom turns back into the bait, although I missed a fish last Sunday for, I think, the first time ever where I had a hook turned back into the back of a bait like that.
Really?
Yeah.
So
I was bummed.
All right, so say it again. What size hook and where are you hooking the bait?
Like, probably no smaller than a 5/0 unless you're fishing with little mackerels. But, you know,
J hook or?
Yeah, I like the J hook.
J hook, okay.
For this kind of thing. It's a lot easier to get in the bait, that's for sure. But, you know, 6/0, 7/0 size hook, and underneath the skin of the back, going from one side to the other.
Kind of like what you'd hook for a kite bait if you fish
Exactly.
kite, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times those guys go all the way back to the dorsal. I don't go that far back. Coming back from the pointy end, from his nose, come back the distance of where his gill flaps end.
Okay.
And then just lightly underneath the skin because there's some tendons right there. So you don't have to go deep. You don't want to go deep because then you hit the backbone and it makes them a little cranky. So just go a little barely under the skin, maybe 1/8 of an inch deep, and it makes a real secure place. The bait swims forever that way. And one of the best things, you hook them crossways through the nose, a lot of times that hook turns back into bait and you miss your fish. You know, you get a good bite and, you know, you get a crushed bait back after a while.
Good idea.
Yeah.
And it's not going to turn up there.
Well, with the exception of the one that I missed last Sunday,
Yeah.
But I mean, I've been doing that for 25 years, so
and it never happened.
The only time it's ever happened to me, I was shocked, and we've been marking some good ones too, so I was kind
So
of
that's the key
happy.
is find them, huh?
You got to find them, yeah, and you know the finding
Have a good
them
meter.
having a good meter, and you know a lot of those fish are still going to be hanging in the areas where you would normally fish them, squid or no squid. You know they're oriented toward edges, so you're going to find them on the edge of those kelp lines, on the edge of hard bottom, on the edge of like a little color break or a little tent break or, you know, some kind of structure, whether it's really visible or more subtle. You know, that's up to you as a fisherman to figure that out. But you're going to fish them in the same places. It's just, you know, it's not likely we're going to have, you know, lots and lots of live squid. So that finding a squid nest and putting out the light and catching some bait and then fly lining squids in the middle of the night and being all stealthy and so on and so forth, you know, that part's probably, it might change. I mean, we may have a flood of squid come in tomorrow. We don't know about such things, but my guess is no. And you know that's going to be a little different this year, and that mackerel thing. So you can fish that mackerel. You can slow troll them if you got a boat that'll go knot and a half like that. You can slow troll them along these edges. I mean, we've got lots of them slow trolling some specific little places I don't want to talk about too much.
Okay, talk
in
about
Long
edges
Beach.
though. What do you mean edges?
Well, like at Catalina, where some of the places we used to fish would be like right on the edge of the kelp, where the hard bottom ends and the sand starts, and the kelp lines are very easy to see, and mostly about 10 fathoms, 60 feet, and you would troll right along that edge. So it'd be the same as fishing some of these kelpy areas on the coast, except at Catalina right now, the whole island is virtually void of kelp. We lost all the kelp between the hot water, big swells, and this invasive green stuff from Japan or whatever that's literally taken over the whole island.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
What's that?
I haven't heard that one either.
Yeah, it's kind of like some long, stringy, kelpy-looking stuff, but it's not our kelp. It's
How did it get here?
You know, it might be like, you know, one of those things that came over in the ships in their bilge water or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all over.
So it's a plant that's growing off the bottom. It's not just something that's free floating.
No, it's growing.
Huh?
And it's
Nothing we can do about it.
That I don't know. I asked a biologist the other day at the show about that, and you know he doesn't know. They're trying to rip it up and all that, but the problem is our kelp doesn't like warm water. It likes that cooler water. So our kelp was a little weakened anyway, and this invasive species apparently likes the warmer water. So
really, what a trip!
Yeah.
I hadn't heard that. That's crazy.
You know, you fish Catalina. I mean, like, so we fish coastal pretty much all winter.
Yeah.
We went over there. I don't know, maybe it's a month ago now, and I hadn't been there all winter. And my customers and friends are telling me there's no kelp at Catalina. It's like, come on, dude. I mean,
I'll find it.
Yeah, I'll find it. Yeah, it's like, come on, you got to open your eyes, guys, right? We go rolling into Arrow Point. There's that big kelp just above there in that Starlight area. I was shocked, dude. There's no kelp. There's a couple little straggly stringers growing in there. The big kelp up by Johnson's virtually gone. Go around the west end, the big kelp in there, kind of Eagle Rock towards West Cove and all that, virtually gone.
Wow. What about Clemente?
I haven't been there, but I've been told by several people that much of the kelp is gone. A lot of the kelp around China's gone. A lot of the kelp around up there at the west end where they're fishing up there by Target Rock. Gone. So
it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Well, so on multiple levels. I mean, first of all the little creatures that live in the kelp, they got to be cranky because they got no kelp.
Yeah, and they got no cover.
The other side of that story is we ain't going to have no kelp patties either.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might. A lot of our kelp patties break off from our local islands. So
sure.
I don't know if this kelp thing goes to the northern Channel Islands as well.
Yeah.
But our islands here,
it's tough.
We're not going to be making much local kelp.
While
patties.
we're on the subject of kelp and San Clemente Island, I had one of our listeners who happens to be a commercial sea urchin and sea cucumber diver at San Clemente Island come by and ask me to mention that for sport boats as well as private boats to really be cautious about them and their activities. And he said numerous times he has had sport boats as well as small private boats almost cut his hose.
Wow.
He's using a hookah
sure.
with a couple 100 feet of hose, and he said he's not necessarily next to the boat, depending on the current, depending on where he is, and now without any kelp, it's even worse. So he says numerous times he's had boats almost cut him off and basically kill him.
Wow.
Because if he said
I'm
100 feet down and somebody cuts my hookah hose, I'm dead. So so guys, keep an eye out for that and be cautious when you see a boat with a flag up. I said, well, don't you have a flag up? And he says, of course I have a flag up. He says, but I may be way off of my boat depending on the current.
Sure.
So watch for the boat and steer very, very clear, or better off just to slow down.
Yeah.
Kind of check it out, and you can see their hoses. I mean, they're pretty bright yellow hoses usually.
Yeah.
So be careful.
Yeah,
but,
that's crazy.
Yeah, when he was telling me the story, I was like, gosh, that's horrible.
I read a couple books. I can't think of the name of the one about those sea urchin guys diving up around the Channel Islands and what it's like to do that life. Oh, my God. Those guys earn every penny they make.
Yeah, that's as hardcore as they come.
That's a hardcore
Especially
job,
up there where they're looking over their shoulder for white sharks. Much more than down here.
Yeah, respect those guys for sure. Well, as you can hear, we have a great show lined up for you. A lot to talk about. I'm sure we're going to talk a lot more about the last day of Fred Hall Del Mar today. From, I believe it opens at 10 o'clock today.
You got it, yeah, 10 to 6 today.
And goes to 6 today, so...
Great time. There's so much going on, and we're so stoked to have a guy like Mark Wishin here. I mean, so many things will be covered today. Obviously, the best bait systems around and all the great fishing, all the great Fred Hall stuff going on. We would love to hear from you this morning. If you want to join in the fun, we'd love to hear you on Let's Talk Hookup. There's two ways you can reach us. First is with our local line, which is 858 area code 457-1090. Again, 858-457-1090. That's our local number. Or you can reach us toll-free. That toll-free line, 877-792-1090. One more time, 877-792-1090. Not only are we talking fishing, talking Fred Hall, talking all the great fun, we've also got another awesome prize for one lucky caller at the end of the show today, and that's an AFTCO Alejos belt and a pair of AFTCO short pump gloves. Courtesy of our friends at AFTCO, a really cool prize.
Worth well over $150.
Well over 120. Right? Yeah, for sure. Really, really nice prize. I love that AFTCO Alejos belt. It's the
such a comfortable belt.
It is perfect mix of a good aluminum belt that's rigid, that doesn't flex, that distributes the pressure, but it's small and it's comfortable and it's not too big just to take on your day and a half trip. A really, really cool prize pack for one lucky caller. Again, if you want to get through, 858-457-1090 or 877-792-1090. When we come back, we're going to be taking your phone calls. Lots of great information coming your way. You stay tuned. You're listening to Southern California's sport fishing voice. Let's Talk Hookup on the mighty 1090.
If you've heard the advice Scott Sherman from Fifth Avenue Insurance has given anglers over the past couple of years, you know there is much more to your boat insurance than just a low rate. Well, Fifth Avenue Insurance can not only find you the lowest rates on your boat insurance, they also make sure the coverage you get meets all your needs. What if you had an accident with the boat and found out you didn't have proper coverage? Well, that just won't happen when you insure with Fifth Avenue Insurance. Call them for advice on your current boat policy or any of your insurance needs. Fifth Avenue Insurance, 619-640-3130, or check the number 5 THAVEINS.com. Your hook is one of the most important parts of your fishing tackle, and that is why you should use the hook that sets the standard for quality and innovation. Gamakatsu. As Japan's leading hook manufacturer and growing at an amazing pace, Gamakatsu is responsible for introducing a unique tempering process to give Gamakatsu hooks superior strength and durability. Plus, the conically needle-honed points stay sharp. Gamakatsu offers a hook for every fishing situation, including the finest one-piece ringed hooks, light wire, standard and heavy-duty live bait hooks, and the popular Nautilus circle hooks. Get Gamakatsu hooks at your favorite tackle store and stay connected to that fish of a lifetime.
Are you as excited about spring fishing as I am? The water stayed warm all winter, which means it's shaping up to be one of the best seasons ever to get out on the water. It's also shaping up to be one of the best seasons ever to visit your Ford dealer. The all-new F-150s are starting to roll in. With over 100 new patents, it's guaranteed to be a game changer. The new Mustang also has everyone buzzing. You've got to check it out. And the new Fusion, Focus, and Escape are better than ever. Fuel efficient and loaded with technology. There's as much interest in these new Fords as there is in spring fishing. In fact, Ford was the most searched automotive brand on Google last year. And once again, it's America's best-selling brand based on 2014 calendar year sales, which makes Ford the brand more people search, buy, and buy again. There's a lot to be excited about this spring, whether you're after tuna, yellowtail, halibut, or a brand new Ford. So visit your San Diego County Ford dealer today. They'll be glad to hook you up.
It's Fred Hall Show time. Hi, this is Doug Kern from Fisherman's Landing Tackle. Be sure to stop by the Fisherman's Landing Tackle booth. The best selection of saltwater tackle at the show, including a complete selection of Cousins tackle and rods. No one has a better selection of Cousins tackle saltwater rods than Fisherman's Landing Tackle. A must visit at this year's Fred Hall Show.
For Rancho Leonero, here's John Ireland.
I'll talk to guests and I'll say, well, how was it? And they say, well, you could talk and improve the fishing. I said, sure, if I had a switch, I would, but how'd you do it? They'll say, well, we fished 3 days and we released 2 marlin and we caught 4 dorado and a bunch of rooster fish. The fishery is intact. Mother Nature's amazing and fishing's good down there. Tuna showed up, big dorado, good billfish, a good striped marlin. The fish photo gallery is interesting. We do honestly make an effort to update it daily. So it gives you a real good idea of what's being caught at the ranch. Another interesting thing that we have a real-time camera that points off of the front porch of the hotel. A lot of people come on the website just to take a peek and see what the weather's like at the ranch. RanchoLeonero.com. Anytime, I encourage you to come visit Rancho Leonero. I'm proud of it. It's my home, and I'll make sure that you have a great time. I'll personally take care of you.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090.
You want to get through, here is your chance. 877-792-1090 or 858-457-1090. We're giving away that ever-popular AFCO Alejos belt and the short pump gloves, courtesy of AFCO, man. You'll be ready to go catch some tuna.
No doubt.
Yeah, no doubt
sure.
about it. Well, let's go ahead and jump into those phones, Rick.
You got it. Well, they're definitely getting packed up. Why don't we start it off this morning with Dennis, who's calling us from Anaheim this morning. Good morning, Dennis. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Yes. Hi, gang. I was just wondering if you can tell me about the fishing on the halibut fishing.
What would you like to know about halibut fishing, Dennis?
Oh, I'm sorry. About a good rig to use for halibut fishing, like jigging for halibut or trolling for halibut.
I've caught a lot of halibut with fishing with Captain Mark Wish. You may not be the initial target species, but boy, you've got some nice.
Yeah, we've had some good fun with those halibuts. I like fishing them, and just like we were talking about fishing mackerels for the white sea bass, at the start of the show. Probably some of the funnest fishing we've ever done is fishing live mackerel for halibut that we can see laying on the bottom over in the shallows at San Clemente Island, on the front side of San Clemente Island.
I have heard of people doing that, and that sounds so freaking cool.
You can see them?
We have done that on and off for years. And, yeah, you get any place that the water's fairly clear and fairly calm, and a boat where you have either a flying bridge or a tower, so, you need some height to be able to see down and good Polaroids. And we drive, excuse me, especially at Clemente, which is where I've done most of this. I've caught some at Catalina, but nothing like Clemente because that's where we've targeted them. But we drive up and down those frontside beaches in 10 to maybe 20 feet of water. If the visibility's good, you can get a little bit deeper, but mostly 10 to 20 feet like that, where you can see the shape of the halibut laying on the sand real clearly. Now, if he has just been moving, if he's just swimming, then you see the halibut laying on the sand. If he's been hanging out there for a little bit, they use that little rim of fins that go all the way around them. They just undulate that little rim and cover themselves up with sand, and then you have to see just the pattern in the sand of the halibut.
Okay.
And,
or their eyes.
Yeah, and two eyes. So, and they're almost always right on the edge of structure, and they're almost always facing into the current. And we've been doing this for many years. We kind of figured out the system. But basically a dropper loop system with the small treble hook, like a size 2 treble hook, and the perfect bait is about an 8-inch long green mackerel. They love the greenies and sardines way over herring or tomcod or Spanish mackerels because they like that flash and all that action really gets them going. And we just flip that bait up current from the fish, let the sinker pull it down. You need enough sinker to get that bait down, and the greenies especially don't want to go down. So then you pull it in the direction the current would be bringing a bait to the fish, and they will blow out of that sand and suck that bait down in the blink of an eye.
That is so rad.
And
how do you
rad.
keep from spooking them with the boat?
They're especially when they're a little bit buried, when they just had been moving and they're laying right on top of the sand, they may creep along a little bit. But overall, they're pretty tame. They're pretty much just hanging out. When they're buried, it's very hard to get them to move. And when they're buried, you got to get that bait like right next to them, really close. And what just has cracked me up over the years after having done this, and this is not like once or twice we've caught a halibut. We've caught limits many times, 5-fish limits, nice ones. And that notion that a halibut like grabs the tail of a bait and works his way up that bait, dude, I'm telling you what. When you got an 8-inch mackerel down to a fish that's anything over like 8 or 10 pounds, which almost all those Clemente fish are, 1 second that bait's there, next second that bait's gone. It's instant. They just suck it down. So, and what happens though is they kind of fold that bait. With the way a halibut is built, they're kind of different. So they fold that bait, and if you're using a single hook, the bait's folded over on top of the hook. You go to set them up, and again, we've watched this happen dozens and dozens of times. The fish comes up flopping, sand's going every place, and then he gets bored, he opens his mouth, he tries to eject that bait, and if the hook's folded inside, you get this bait back with a few little scratches, and you say, oh, I should have let him eat it longer.
I got raked.
He's already had it.
I got raked.
Yeah.
He's had it for a while.
Yeah. So what we eventually figured out is this a small treble hook, and again, bait hooked right behind the head.
So just a treble hook, not a stinger hook.
Don't need it.
Just a straight treble hook.
For what we were doing. Now, maybe in areas where the water is dirtier and you can't see the halibut doing what he's doing, maybe they bite differently. I don't know. Because a lot of halibut guys, I'm sure, are saying, that guy doesn't know what he's talking about. So I'm talking about San Clemente Island halibut, Catalina Island halibut, in shallow water that I have seen eat the bait dozens and dozens and dozens of times. But that little, like size 2 treble or maybe a size 1, not a real big one, and you just watch the bait or the fish blow up out of the sand, eat the bait, and set them up.
Yeah, one of those sharp gamakatsu trebles.
Yeah, one of those is absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
So there's something about halibut fishing you might not have known.
There you go. All right, good scenario there. Hey, thanks a lot for the call, Dennis. That does free up a toll-free line at 877-792-1090, open right now.
All right, next up, let's talk to Dan. Dan's calling us from Encinitas this morning. Hi, Dan. Thanks for joining us here on Let's Talk Hookup.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Good morning.
I had a sea bass question on if that Carlsbad replenishment is still up and running.
The hatchery.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Full speed.
And if there are any volunteer opportunities. And also, if with the sea bass heads, where to take them as far as if they've been microchipped?
Well, the hatchery program is very much going full speed. It was a fantastic program, and they've got the grow-out pens all up and down the coast, so there's probably an opportunity for you to help out at a grow-out pen in your area, one of the local harbors, just find out, who's got that and contact who's managing that. And there might be some opportunities at the hatchery directly for volunteers. You'd have to contact them directly on that.
Which that's all done through Hubs, is that right?
Right, yeah. And then as far as the heads, almost all the tackle stores and some of the marine fuel docks are involved with the program of taking those heads, and then the guys from Hubs come by and collect them. They call us probably 3-4 times a year, and sometimes when those fish are biting, I can't wait for them to come by because I need the space for other stuff. But yeah, it's a worthwhile program, and they're definitely getting some of those fish back with chips in them and finding that those things move around an awful lot.
If you go to HSWRI, Hubs SeaWorld Research Institute, HSWRI.org, and you click on that, and they have a page for volunteers. And you can click on volunteers, and it tells you where they need. They have a volunteer registration right on the website. So
awesome.
It's right there, and they need your help. I mean, it's a continuing effort, and they're going to expand the effort to other species like halibut, yellowtail, striped bass, a lot of different things.
I know Mike Shane was at the Fred Hall Show on Friday, and we got a chance to talk to him just, about the future of Hubs and how successful the sea bass program is going on and how excited they are to potentially start expanding to all the different other species that they can do work with. And it's just really cool to see how well that program has worked and, exciting to see how well it's going to work in the future.
Yeah, no doubt. So that's SWRI stands, first letters for Hubs SeaWorld Research Institute.org. Just click on the left side, you'll see volunteer on the bottom, and it'll take you right to that page.
One more quick question. If I get there early, any chance of me getting my hands on a Thorium 16 today?
That is a very hot commodity at the show for sure, but I know that they are definitely still around. I was going to say we got lucky and had a few Thoriums at the beginning of the show, and although a lot of them have gone away, we do still have, at least at Fisherman's, and I know some of the other great shops there also have them. But yeah, we've still got 16, 20s, and 30s at least to start the show.
In stock.
Yes.
At Fisherman's Landing Tackle.
Yes.
Very good.
So, but I would definitely say, being that it's Sunday and a lot of them have picked through, Dan, if you know you're going, that should be one of the first things you do is don't wait, just go snatch it up.
Go snatch it up.
Sure.
And there's going to be a lot of other great specials there, too.
Yeah, it's just been a really good year.
Yeah, you guys still have the Seagar, is it buy two, get one free?
Yeah, you got it.
Gamakatsu.
Are just great deals on Gamakatsu hooks. I mean, they're just everything's.
Whoa.
6X Juniors for $5.95, like all kinds of crazy stuff. It was a really good year for great deals at the show.
Yeah.
And it's been a lot of fun.
Still going. Today's the last day.
Absolutely.
All right, Dan, we'll see you at the show. Thanks a lot, and come by the Let's Talk Hookup booth and say hi and pick up a sticker. And we have our hats and T-shirts, and I want to thank Gary and the Codfather and Dave and the Cowboy for covering for me while I was in Ohio.
They did a great job. I went by their booth yesterday for lunch, and there was a bunch of people, and everybody was missing you, but their shirts were going, and there was a big crowd there, and everybody did a great job with filling in for you.
I have a great crew. I'm very, very, very fortunate to have some great people, including your dad, the Codfather.
Yeah, he had fun. He did a good job.
It was a funny story. I was talking to the Codfather on the phone. I forget, and somebody was like, "The Codfather? What's that?" So I had to go through the whole story about Rock Cod Rick, and and then his dad used to drive him in when he was 15 years old in the studio, and so we nicknamed him the Codfather. So that's where that's coming. Hey, let's talk to John Ireland, another guy that's been at the show there in the Rancho Leonero booth. Buenos dias, John.
Hi, John.
Hi, Peter. Hi, Rick. Hi, Mark.
Hey, John.
Yeah, we got one more day of the show. It's been an excellent show, I think. We've been taking lots of reservations, and it's been busy. The weather's been nice, and I think the weather's really helped. it's jammed up. Certainly yesterday and the day before. It's as busy as I remember it.
Lots of fun, and that was another spot where you could always see a group of people always huddled around. Everybody, you know, from half wanting to book their room at the ranch to half just telling stories about how much they love the place. It's a very popular spot at the show, John.
Yeah, a big part of it's just saying hi to friends, you know, and people coming by and touching base, old guests and everything. So it's fun. I enjoy it, and looking forward to our last day here.
Oh, yeah, Pam and Phil and your lovely pregnant daughter Jeannie's there, and you'll be there. So, man, she's ready to pop, huh?
Yeah, she is. May 13th and maybe even a little earlier. So, yeah, she won't be there today because I put my foot down.
Yeah,
she's just too darn close. So.
Yeah,
good. I'm excited, you guys. I'm excited as I've ever been.
Grandpa.
That's awesome, John.
It's a big deal.
I'm excited for you.
Thank you. Okay, getting back to the fish report here. We are metering, believe it or not, out in front 76 to 78 degree water in March. So that's a good 6 or 7 degrees warmer than normal. So I'm afraid that's going to probably carry through the year, and it's going to mean for early fishing, early good fishing. And that's kind of reflecting in the bite right now. It's interesting, you know, because I came up on Wednesday to come do the show, and it was hotter up here than it is down there by 3 or 4 degrees, but it's definitely warmer in San Diego than it was in Cabo, and that's kind of unusual too. So a little bit warmer. Fishing's good. Right off it's been striped marlin city for last month and a half, and literally every boat is releasing multiples, 2 or 3 if they're targeting billfish. They're taking lures and live bait. What's happened in the last couple of weeks is thresher sharks have shown up. A lot of threshers. I'd say the average thresher shark's probably 150 pounds, but there's a lot of them around, a lot of break-offs, and we're sending 5 or 6 boats out a day, but we're getting a couple thresher sharks to the beach every day. So, and that's unusual. I don't remember ever having that many threshers. Normally it's kind of a solitary catch. You run into 1 or 2 outside, but they seem to really be bunching off the bank in front, which is something unusual for us. And guys are taking advantage of that. A couple of wahoo this week in the 40 to 50 pound range. It's early for the wahoo as well. Dorado fishing, that slowed a little bit. We're sending out again 5 fish. We're seeing probably 10 Dorado to the cleaning table every day, something like that. They're in the 10 pound range. Inside's busy. Lots of pompano. Pompano showed up this week. Nice pompano in the 5 to 10, 8 pound range. Lots of Sierra as usual, and lots of rooster fish. Smaller rooster fish in the 10 pound range, but gobs of them, and particularly at the lighthouse entrance there, the jetties on either side are just packed with them. Really good fishing if you like the Guyos. So anyway, it's a good start.
We like the Guyos.
Everybody does. It'll be good again in June, Pete.
Man, for our tournament, Let's Talk Hookup tournament, I mean, that's going to be prime.
Yeah.
With the warm water already, I mean, last year was the best fishing we've ever had. This year could way eclipse that.
Well, last year would have been hard to beat in the year before. How many rooster fish over 50 pounds were released?
Dozens.
70?
Dozens, yeah.
I mean, for the whole tournament, like 70 or something.
So is it true that we actually may have a couple spots left on that tournament?
I need to check with Jeannie.
Yeah, I know it was filling up. Jeannie said, I don't know. There's people coming, signing up last minute here. And the airfares right now for June?
So good.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, a lot of options, and certainly even Alaska, which is the most expensive, is $300 round trip.
Yeah,
no problem at all.
Crazy.
And I guess Spirit out of San Diego is about $220 round trip.
Unreal.
And if you want to go Volaris, it's about $150 round trip
out of Tijuana. Yeah, and when they put that new gate in, where you can just walk across at Otay Mesa directly to the airport, it's supposed to be finished in the fall.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
I thought it was farther away than
I mean, that's going to make that a tremendous option.
I've flown out of there before, and it's just, it's not, I would never say it's as easy as Alaska, and that's certainly the easiest for sure. But you know what? If you can get a great fare, it's really not that bad. I mean, they offer shuttle service from San Diego to take you down there. It's definitely a viable option.
Well, you know what a lot of people are doing too. The airlines just sell one-way tickets now both ways, and so what you do is you go down on Volaris out of Tijuana, get a one-way on that, and then you come back on Spirit right into San Diego and through San Diego Customs, and you get the best of both worlds and save a bunch of money.
Don't have to
go. I like that.
There. All right, I'm still liking Alaska the best, though. It's a good service.
It is easy.
Well, we're collecting our miles, Pete.
And the good service, too.
That's right.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. All right, how do you get a hold of Rancho Leonero, other than coming by the booth at the Fred Hall Show, which is right in the front and center when you walk into the main hall? How do we get a hold of you? Book a trip to Rancho Leonero.
Thanks, Pete. Be sure and come by and say hi if you can. 800-646-2252 or rancholanarrow.com.
All right, we'll see you at the show, 10 o'clock this morning.
Look forward to it.
All right.
See you, John.
John, appreciate that. 858-457-1090, open right now. If you want to get through, there is your chance.
All right, let's talk to Dan, calling us from San Diego this morning. Hi, Dan. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
And good morning, guys. Hope you're having a good day. I actually was going to give you just a fish report, but listening to you, I've got a couple of quick questions. Can you give the price on the Torium 16A, the new one?
They're $229.95.
Okay.
And $229, $239, $249 for the series, the 16, the 20, and the 30.
Oh, that's awesome.
How does it differ from the old Torium?
It's it completely. Honestly, it would be the best way to say it. It is very, if you're familiar with the new Trinidad A in shape, it is much that shape. Now, I wouldn't say that it is a Trinidad, but it is a very closely related reel. So the gearbox has been rounded and pushed a little farther forward so it fits under your hand a little better. The entire reel itself, the new Torium, is smaller than the previous Torium, but they hold the same amount of line. So the new 16 holds the exact same amount of line that the old 16 did, but the physical size of the reel built around that spool is smaller. The left side plate and the frame are all of the same body instead of having a left side plate that's screwed to the frame. New handle. It's got those cross-carbon drag washers that produce a lot of drag, and you get very good longevity out of them. They did a really good job with the reel. Yeah.
So what's the difference between a Torium HG and a Trinidad A?
A Trinidad features X-Ship, which is the bearing-supported gear system, so you have very good gear life and perfect alignment of the gears. A Trinidad is a forged aluminum frame, so a little different frame process, a little more bearings, a little tighter. But a Torium is an extremely well-functioning, great free-spooling, high-torque reel that is very affordable for a lot of us out there.
That's what I have now.
Difference in price between the Trinidad A and the Torium?
Trinidad's, Torium's, like I said, $229, $249. Trinidads are going to be in that $500-ish range.
So
obviously,
half the price.
There's a lot of different sizes, so a
Sure.
10 is going to be less than a 25. But, yeah, they're going to be in that $479-ish range. So, yeah, about half the cost, roughly. But awesome. I mean, and they rightfully so have been extremely popular because they, for what we do, surface iron reel, live bait fishing reel, you get that star drag, super lightweight spool that's easy to cast, and they work right. Some of the other reels that are out there that are cool looking, flashy, anodized aluminum work very good on the shelf. When you turn the handle real fast and they kick the thing into free spool, the spool spins for an hour, but that's not how a cast works. You need a lot of inertia to get those heavy spools to start to roll. And think about your sardine swimming line in the water. He's got to turn that heavy spool when he tries to get line. So having a lightweight spool, it's the reason Newells always were so great. A heavy spool in the showcase looks good, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work the same.
It doesn't work the same.
They killed it.
Hey, Mark, you're kind of chuckling about that one, right?
Oh, you mentioned Newells, and Newells are Newells, but I still love a couple of the ones that I have.
Sure.
Yeah, those things fish so nicely.
That's what we joke, that these things cast as good as a Newell, but they actually have torque, and you don't have to rebuild them after every fish.
Yeah, I was going to say you don't have to carry an extra set of drag washers, right, every time you catch a fish on it. Does that cover it for you, Dan?
I just wanted to ask also, where at the show can you get those $6.95 Salas 6X Juniors?
Well, I know we have them for $5.95, the 6X Juniors at Fisherman's Landing Tackle Shop. And again, I'm sure there's a lot of other booths that have great deals on them also. I'm just not familiar, but yeah, they've been an extremely popular thing at the booth.
Nice.
Yeah, so very, very good. We'll look forward to seeing you out there, Dan.
All right, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for the call this morning.
Hey, when we come back, we got a lot more Let's Talk Hookup coming away, including your phone calls. We haven't even begun to talk about all the great bait tank stuff. We got a lot of Let's Talk Hookup coming away, including catch reports. 858-457-1090. That's your chance. And when we return, we're going to be taking those phone calls right here on the Mighty 1090.
Bubba had a dream, Bubba had a wish.
Everyone likes special treatment, kind of feel like a VIP. Well, that's how our listeners are treated at Poway Valley Collision. I have personally heard of several stories of how well our friends Jim and Mary take care of their customers that we sent them. Poway Valley Collision is worth the drive from anywhere in the Southland. We know you may not need them today, but when accidents happen, it pays to go to Poway Valley Collision. And listen to this. Our listeners get a special discount that can save you hundreds of dollars on your car or truck repair. Just tell them you listen to the show and you get the deal. They work with most insurance companies, including Auto Club, MetLife, Wawanesa, and more. Just bring your car or truck to them and let Poway Valley Collision do the rest. I've had my truck repaired at Poway Valley Collision, and the job was perfect. So get your vehicle fixed right at Poway Valley Collision. Tell them you listen to Let's Talk Hookup, and they'll save you money on your repair. Poway Valley Collision, 14211 Garden Road in Poway. Check PowayValleyCollision.com.
It's time for the Power Pro 60-second seminar, and like we always say on your next fishing trip, you got to get the Power Pro Advantage, and the best thing to do today, if you're coming to the Fred Hall Show, is go by the Power Pro booth, right across from the Let's Talk Hookup booth, right next to the Shimano booth, and have them teach you connections. But also, while you're there, check out the new Max Quattro. It's shipping now to tackle stores. It's pretty amazing.
So cool that they can take a line that has all the great features of Power Pro, crazy strong, good knot strength, good casting, and literally make it smaller and stronger. You know, it was the smallest, strongest line before, and now with the Max Quattro, if you're used to fishing 65 pounds, you get all the great attributes that you've always had in Power Pro, but it's the size of 50.
Think about fly line and a bait for a bluefin.
Totally.
With 50-pound Max Quattro by Power Pro, and how stealthy you'll be.
Yes.
The feel of it is great. It feels great. It's kind of not as soft as Super 8 Slick, but it's not as hard as regular Power Pro. Feels really great on your hands. It's an amazing product. So check it out at the Power Pro booth today, or better yet, go by your local tackle store when it's in stock and pick it up.
It's Fred Hall Show time. Hi, this is Doug Kern from Fisherman's Landing Tackle. Be sure to stop by the Fisherman's Landing Tackle booth. The best selection of saltwater tackle at the show, including Shimano, rods, reels, and accessories. No one has a better selection of Shimano product than Fisherman's Landing Tackle. A must visit at this year's Fred Hall Show. Fisherman's Landing has been the choice of sport fishing anglers for decades, with the largest fleet of long-range boats worldwide, complemented by Southern California's finest charter and open party fleet. Now is the time to book your long-range trips and charters, plus half-day trips aboard the Dolphin. Go to fishermanslanding.com and see trip availability, and even book your trip online. Stop by or call Fisherman's Landing in San Diego and book now at fishermanslanding.com.
XEPRS 1090 AM, Rosarito, Baja California.
You're listening to the home of the Padres.
Padres are playing some kind of baseball.
San Diego's sports leader, the mighty 1090.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup on the mighty 1090.
All right. Time to find out what's biting.
You got it, man. It is time for the Catch Report, and today it's sponsored part by Dana Landing on Mission Bay. The Dana Landing booth at this year's Fred Hall Del Mar show is basically 4 booths in one. It's been crazy busy, and that's because they got such good deals. It's an awesome booth. They've got a combination of 4 corporate booths within the Dana Landing booth space, which means 4 times the savings for you. They've got Maui Jim, they've got Olakai, Warbaits, and the Salty Crew. They're all on hand at the Dana Landing booth with incredible savings on their top-of-the-line products. So it's a really fun booth to check out, too. It's just a cool vibe and really good deals going on over there. And as always, those guys just
see them today
right.
at Fred Hall, right there, right in the main hall.
At the Del Mar show. Yeah, really, really cool. So check that out. Hey, let's start off our Catch Report with our next-door neighbor at the show, and that's Dana War Sport Fishing. We got the man, Captain Brian Willie's on the line. What's up, Willie?
Hey, what's happening? Good morning, guys. How are you?
Great. It's such a rare opportunity to get a side-by-side personal appearance at a show with Brian Willie. So take advantage of it today. Come on.
Actually, you're going to see Captain Pika down there today.
Yeah, we got to hang out with Pika yesterday. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Good deal. Well, hey, no big game in our counts this week, but let me tell you, the bottom fishing has been really good for us this last week. The weather certainly played into it and was a key factor, and made for some real good, easy drifts. We had a good mixed bag, good reds and grouper making up probably a good solid portion of the counts for our anglers. And with a little bit of effort, you could easily finish your day with a limit, no problem. And it's a good mixed-sized fish, a couple smaller reds up to some, 3-4 pound stuff. So it's just good stuff to take home and eat. We have beautiful anchovy in our receivers right now, just plugged with this stuff, and it's really been helpful for that bottom fishing too. And you can imagine that anchovy into the kelp has really helped our half-day counts too. So some real good fly line fishing. A combination of the bait and the conditions has really kind of kicked off that calico bass fishing a lot earlier than it has been in years past. So we'll see if that's a good thing or a bad thing, how that plays out. And speaking of half days, on Sundays, I've talked about the kids fish free with the paid adults. That's just taken off. We have 2 boats today that are both going to get out full. There's a few spots left. I think there's 8 spots left to check before we went online here. And we'd love to have some more people out getting in on some of that calico bass action, and it's a great way to get some new kids out there and kind of get their ball rolling and, get them out on the water. So in the Fury, he's been fishing 5 to 5 at Catalina. He's got some good calico bass fishing, a few yellowtail in his counts, and just some good mixed bag fishing over there for him too. So guys want to hop on a trip, you can call our landing. Phone number there, 949-496-5794. You can definitely stop by the booth and see those guys today. They've got some Friends of Rollo raffle ticket things going, and spin the wheel, win some prizes. They've been giving out half-day trips, three-quarter-day trips, all kinds of cool stuff over there too. So tons of ways to get a hold of us. We'd love to have you out on the water, so give us a call and come on up and check it out.
Willie will appreciate that, and Pika did a great job yesterday. It was a fun day, a crowded day, and lots of fun. It's good to see Chris in there talking fishing with him.
Shoot any rubber bands at him?
Well, we didn't shoot him at him, just some little testers, just to make sure that he knew that we were still around.
That's good for me today, Ricky.
Yeah, we'll send a couple stingers over with your name on, Willie.
Perfect.
All right, Brian. Great report. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
All right, fantastic. Gundy Gunderson, surf guru extraordinaire. What's up, Gundy?
Hey, what's going on?
You, man.
Man, this grunion run is amazing. Really lit things up in the surf line. Excellent. Terrific week of fishing. The recent grunion runs drawing all kinds of fish into the surf line. Halibut's the top-notch thing, but lots of other stuff going on. I think the last several seasons we've had cooler water, so the squid's been outside. That halibut will get on those squid nests, the big and small ones. But I think this year that fish has stayed in more shallow, and boy, that grunion come around and things have really lit up. Wiley's reported strong grunion run, excellent halibut action, lots of shorts, but lots of legal fish, lots of 6 to 8 pound fish in the mix up there. The guys who are really getting them are the kayakers. One of their kayak guys had a 36-inch, 20-plus pound fish just outside the surf line there in Malibu. Another shore angler had a 32-inch, 13-pound, 3-ounce white sea bass, and that was taken on a lucky crab, and that's fished in the grunion concentration there. Big Fish reported the hard jerkbait bite was excellent off Bolsa Chica. The inlet in particular was really good there. Sunset, Belmont Shores, all through there really good. At times, anglers were reporting 2 to 3 legal fish in a session. And there have also been some great big leopard sharks feeding in the grunion at night, too. The guys soaking a grunion at night. And when you soak a grunion at night, you could catch a leopard, you could catch a halibut, big calico bass, sand bass, white sea bass. It's really worth your while to gather some of that grunion and use it for bait. There's also been a few corbina in the mix, and the big fish this week was taken off of Newport Beach there. 5-pound, 4-ounce corbina taken on an early sand crab. That's a big, giant fish. And then working down south, Hogan's reported from the pier south to San Onofre. Excellent halibut action, white X-Wraps, Zoom flukes working for those guys down there, lots of double-digit fish. And then finally Pacific Coast to the south there reported excellent halibut action. In particular, the lagoon, if you remember, they dredged out lagoon here recently. The water's flowing heavy, the smelt's in there. The guys fishing live smelt are scoring lots of fish, and there's been some real good size ones, fish pushing the 20-pound mark. So this grunion run really lit things up.
Yeah, man.
You want
That's
to catch a nice halibut out of the surf, right now is the time.
This is it right here, halibut in the surf today.
That's it.
Right, Gundy? After you go to the Fred Hall show, just kick out to Del Mar and go cast a line.
There's so much fishing to talk about, I can't get my voice back.
Boy, Gundy. All right, Gundy, surf guru extraordinaire. Thanks for that report. We'll talk to you
Have a good week, guys.
next
See you,
Sunday.
Gundy.
All right.
Appreciate the great report. Hey, that again, sponsored in part by Job Site Supply, specializing in the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing trades. Unistrut is the original metal framing system that features a unique weldless connection. It's a Unistrut metal framing. It saves time and money, saving the alternative to conventional support methods. You can come see the largest selection of Unistrut at JobSiteSupplyCo.com for more details. And I got a chance to see Skeet from Job Site Supply at the show, cruising around, and doing the Del Mar show thing, like you said before. They're fishermen and good friends
good
and
guys.
Great people to do business with.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Job Site Supply is a very easy company and very, very good people to do business with.
So if you're a contractor,
check them out.
Look them up.
That's for
sure.
sure.
For sure. Hey, there's a great opportunity for you if you're coming to the Fred Hall Del Mar show today, and that's thanks to Ginny Hall, Mark's wife. UC Care Pharmacy and Compounding Center. She heard it on Let's Talk Hookup. Dr. Blum, one of the ones that Dr. Blum found for us. She got him to come to the show.
Right.
Yesterday and today.
Correct. It was only for the weekend, so if you weren't there earlier, it's worth coming back.
Yeah. So he's compounding Scopace to match your prescription. So rather than having to use the patch, if you remember the pill that's no longer available, he will compound Scopace for you, and if you need a doctor's prescription. But you can talk to him at the Fred Hall Show today, and he'll give you that information. I'll give you his phone number. It's 858-397-1797. But right across from the Van Wormer Resorts, right next to Bill Boyce Photography, and next to the coffee, you'll see him tucked away in that little corner.
Perfect description.
Yeah,
perfect description.
In the main hall.
And you can't miss Bill Boyce's booth. I mean, it's big and colorful and all the killer photography. It's right next door. You can't miss him.
So go see Joe. Joe's the man.
Pretty darn cool.
There,
Well, I got one, too, from yesterday, and very cool getting to talk to Jeff and Adrian from Cedros Adventures. They have a trip wanting to do a Fred Hall Show special. So they had a trip that had a couple of spots on it and decided to do, on this particular trip only, a major discounted fare. And it's a 4th of July trip. It's July 3rd through the 6th. And it's a discounted trip of only $15.75.
Over the weekend.
Yeah. Which, again, it was one of those things.
Leave Friday, come back Monday.
It's not a trip that needed to be discounted, but they wanted to do something cool for the show, and that trip had a few spots on it. So for that one particular spot or trip only, which there are a few spots on, if you do it at the show only, you can get that discount
Show
price.
special.
Yeah, exactly.
CedrosAdventures.com, or don't forget, Cedros Adventures. 2 words.
That's it.
Not 3. 2. Cedros Adventures. That's the company you want to go with if you're going to Cedros.
No doubt about it, man.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So go see them and take advantage of that show special. In addition to that, sign up for, now the trip we're going on, our July Cedros Adventures trip is sold out. But our September trip that's hosted by Rock Cod
that'll be on.
is open. We have a few spots. I think there were 4 spots left on that trip to go to Cedros Adventures in September. Great time of the year to go down
Which
there.
we had that killer big yellowfish last year down there.
Man.
It was so good.
Yeah.
And they were such big fish around.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
And, halibut, giant calico bass, pretty good.
And once you get that fall killer weather.
I
love it.
Beautiful weather. So go sign up at Cedros Adventures there. Actually, if you find the Let's Talk Hookup booth and you go and you just pass us and keep going, you'll see Jeff and the gang. I think it's 4 or 5 booths. I think they're right next to Uni Butter.
Yeah.
Next to Tommy Gomes.
Yeah, I think you're right.
There. So just go see them there today and take advantage of those show specials.
All right. Well, hey, let's jump back into the phones. Again, if you want to get through, it's been a very busy morning. 858-457-1090 or 877-792-1090. Let's talk to Bruce. Called us from Lemon Grove this morning. What's up, Bruce? Welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Morning.
2 questions for you, Mark. First, have you ever fished down the IB line for the halibut?
No. I'm more Orange County up that way, so I have not fished that area at all. But some of my friends do, and they catch some whoppers. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going right now. The second question was, on a 40-gallon bait tank, how fast would you say the ratio would be for it to fill up?
Good question.
That is a good question. And what it really depends on is the way the inlet system is designed, because you don't want the water swirling around in there too fast. A little bit of current to help orient the bait is good. Depending on your inlet system, some of them can get the water spinning around. Like many years ago, a guy did a plastic tank built on what he called the vortex theory. And you look down in there and it looked like a jacuzzi, and it just like wash the scales off an anchovy or sardine. So that is not the idea. A little bit of current is good. Too much is not good. So but typically we try to fill a tank of that size in that 6 to 7 minute range. And most of the time, a 500 size pump is not enough. Usually it's about an 800 pump to get that fill rate. Will work well for you.
So it doesn't necessarily matter how that time should be the same regardless of the size of the tank, because a bigger tank requires a bigger pump, or does a larger tank require more time to fill?
Well, what happens is that smaller tanks and the amount of bait that people put in them, you got a bigger ratio of bait to water, so a lot of times you try to fill them a little bit quicker.
Okay.
And on bigger tanks, you've got so much more room for the bait to swim that water can turn a little slower because it takes a long time to load that tank with all that bait, so the water is changing while you're loading it. So bigger tanks, you can get away with that 10-minute range, sometimes even more a little bit. But as long as you can fill the tank rapidly and not disturb the bait in the process, you could fill it in 1 minute, as long as you're not creating too much turbulence in the tank to disturb the bait.
And that's one of the huge advantage of a Pacific Edge tank is the way you have them, I don't know, baffled, I guess you would call it?
It's baffled. And
yeah.
Then we have the water coming out of slots in the baffle. It's designed to be directional, and it's designed to, because a lot of guys feel that a bigger pump is better. And in reality, a lot of times it's not. So we have the slot set up so that the current doesn't get going too fast, even if a guy does have a little bit too much pump, which most guys often do. And, and we can adjust that too. Like when I send tanks back east to Florida, those guys back there, because of whatever it is they're putting in their bait tanks and because of the hotter water, they want the water swirling. And I've had endless discussions with them, and they say that's what works. So for those guys, we put less slots, which means more velocity out of each one to create more current. So, but for our stuff out here, a little bit of current is good, but
not too much.
Not too much. No.
Yeah, and the thing is too, that 50-gallon Pacific Edge tank, like what I have on my boat, is the perfect size for my size of boat. For a boat 22 to 28 feet, something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, not too big, not too small. You got the right pump in there. It's an amazing tank. And think about this. It's the old story is you get what you pay for.
So true.
And think about bait. If you're thinking about, well, geez, a Pacific Edge tank is maybe a couple $100 more than this other tank I want. Think about how much a scoop of bait is, and how much value that scoop of bait is when you get offshore and the tuna are boiling and you look down and your bait is dead. Or half the bait's dead.
Yeah, we hear that story all the time.
What would you pay to have that bait live?
With the amount of money that you put into one trip, fuel and permits and time, and you only get X amount of time when the fish are biting, you would have reached in your wallet and handed somebody $200, that extra cost of that tank, right there for that one day, let alone the lifetime. And I say the same thing to every person all the time. It has nothing to do with Mark sitting here. The tanks that Mark makes are the best, period. There's just no question about it.
The way he sets them up.
Exactly.
He'll tell you the right pump to put in. He even does installs.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, sorry about that, Mark. But Mark does the best install.
Yeah, we do a lot of install. We got some really interesting stuff going on right now with some of our installs. We get involved in some of these little custom projects, and some of them get kind of interesting, kind of involved.
You want to talk about a bait system upgrade? When you call into the show next, talk to Ryan. I mean, Ryan was the perfect example of having a little 21-foot local fishing skiff that had a factory bait system that, for lack of a better word, just sucked. They're short, and the water sloshes around, and the bait doesn't go good. And you look on the internet, and you hear every person complaining about, the bait sucks right now. The bait sucks right now. And then you
look down in my tank. It's fine,
and then you go to Mark and put a tank in that's twice the volume, but somehow has a smaller footprint on the boat because he's good at doing the right installs. And they make flat tanks and oval tanks and square tanks based on what fits for the boat. And then you overload the thing, and the bait lists twice as good. And it's just, you see it all the time. People complaining about the bait, or people that have tanks like this, and it's just a world of difference.
No question. And when we come back, we want to talk about making sure you put the right amount of bait in your tank. So if you want to get through, 858-457-1090, 858-457-1090, or 877-792-1090.
More when we come back. And let's talk hookup on the mighty 1090.
If you're into the water, I mean getting out and going fishing, diving, surfing, shark diving, or kayaking, you need to check out the Islander at islander-charters.com. The Islander is San Diego's leader when it comes to 2 to 5 day fishing. In addition, the Islander offers kayak mothership trips, spearfishing trips, and more. Watch the website for trips and adventures available. You won't find a more knowledgeable or well-rounded team than Captain Shane Slaughter, John Conniff, and crew. Experience the Islander difference. Visit islander-charters.com for all the details.
I am an angler, a heroic defender of the noble sport of fishing. When I go out with my crew, we're prepared for everything from itty-bitty mosquitoes to the biggest bass you've ever seen. Not to mention, we all wear life jackets. And with this year's drought conditions, we're also defending every last drop of water, saving lives and saving water, because the best defense is a good offense. Just don't tell the fish that.
Take your hero quiz at BoatCalifornia.com. A message from the California State Parks Division of Boating and Waterways.
Great boats, free parking, and a fully stocked tackle shop. Just a few of the reasons Seaforth Sport Fishing is a favorite among anglers. Come aboard top charter boats like the Aztec, Cortez, Endeavor, Eclipse, Apollo, Outer Limits, Pacific Star, El Gato Dos, Alexis, Pride, Privateer, Tribute, Pacific Voyager, and the Voyager. Plus, the new Seaforth Sea Watch in San Diego offer the finest half, 3/4, and full-day trips available. Check out the full-service tackle store at Seaforth Sport Fishing. And it's all run by fishermen for fishermen. 1717 Quivira Road, just off Mission Bay Drive in Mission Bay. Book online at seaforthlanding.com.
XEPRS 1090 AM, Rosarito, Baja California.
You're listening to the home of the Padres.
Oh my gosh, this club is playing fantastic baseball.
San Diego's sports leader, the mighty 1090.
Information is the key to success, and inside information is even better. When it comes to fishing, inside information is critical, and that's what FishDope.com delivers. FishDope.com really does help you catch more fish and save fuel. FishDope.com is the only SST service with a satellite oceanographic PhD on board. The only fish finding service with a spotter plane. You get daily catch reports from Point Conception to San Martin Island, 365 days a year. FishDope.com boasts the largest code group anywhere, covering sport boats, commercial boats, and private boaters. FishDope.com has online planning tools, moon phase, tides, hot bite icons, and more. What I'm telling you is, if you don't have FishDope.com, well, good luck. Membership costs less than 40 gallons of gas for the entire year. That's right, 1 year. What a bargain. Plus, stay tuned for the special code to save $20 on a FishDope.com membership. Check it out today. FishDope.com. Catch more fish, burn less fuel. What a tuna and yellowtail season last year. Many say the best in 30 years. Could this season be even better? Don't be caught without the right gear. Now is the time to stock up on the trolling lure that proved to be the best. X-Rap Magnum by Rapala. Every X-Rap Magnum runs perfect right out of the box. They all have extreme action and a controlled deep diving aggressive swimming motion. The large diving lip partners with premium VMC hooks and an irresistible rattle. The X-Rap Magnum by Rapala can be trolled at high speeds without rolling or kicking out at depths to 15 feet. Bottom line, the X-Rap Magnum is the ultimate trolling lure for Southern California and Baja saltwater fishing. With a textured translucent body, internal holographic foil, and 3D holographic eye, X-Rap Magnums are irresistible to saltwater game fish. Available in a variety of colors and sizes. No matter what you choose, the fish can't resist X-Rap Magnum by Rapala. Ask your local tackle dealer which is the hottest color and size and start catching more fish. See the entire line at Rapala.com.
Are you as excited about spring fishing as I am? The water stayed warm all winter, which means it's shaping up to be one of the best seasons ever to get out on the water. It's also shaping up to be one of the best seasons ever to visit your Ford dealer. The all-new F-150s are starting to roll in. With over 100 new patents, it's guaranteed to be a game changer. The new Mustang also has everyone buzzing. You've got to check it out. And the new Fusion, Focus, and Escape are better than ever. Fuel efficient and loaded with technology. There's as much interest in these new Fords as there is in spring fishing. In fact, Ford was the most searched automotive brand on Google last year. And once again, it's America's best-selling brand based on 2014 calendar year sales, which makes Ford the brand more people search, buy, and buy again. There's a lot to be excited about this spring, whether you're after tuna, yellowtail, halibut, or a brand new Ford. So visit your San Diego County Ford dealer today. They'll be glad to hook you.